I'm Dave Kassler, amateur radio call sign KE0OG, here with another unboxing video. This is something that's quite interesting. It's called Quick Charge, and it's a rechargeable soldering iron. So, Quick Charge, it's made by a company called ISO-Tip, which is a division of Genesis in Wisconsin, okay? And they asked if they could send this to me because they have seen my videos where I'm soldering things with my nice soldering station using the Chinese kit that a reader suggested to me. I actually keep that kit right here beside my desk all the time because it's so convenient. Okay. This is addressed to Dear Smart Human. Well, wrong person here, but I'll look at it anyway. In any event, the idea here is a battery-operated soldering iron, and they've got all kinds of them here in their catalog and all kinds of tips. The idea that they can, you can actually do a whole bunch of soldering with one of these things before it needs to be recharged is pretty cool. Now, I really haven't opened the box. This is model 7700. Okay, and let's just kind of poke around here. This particular product is manufactured and shipped out of Altoona, Wisconsin. How cool. This is an American-made product here. And so they say on the side here, the kit includes several things. The cordless rechargeable soldering iron, a charging stand, a fine tip, a standard tip, a quick charge battery, and a warranty. And it shows several different types of little soldering irons there. The back talks about doing it for electrical handiwork, industrial maintenance. Jewelers use soldering irons. I guess people do it for fun. Art, that sort of thing. No, artists down here. And do-it-yourself projects. And automotive repairs. Now, I will tell you that a soldering iron, no matter how good it is or how hot it is, will not work in an environment where there's wind. So that's why most soldering is done indoors. If you absolutely positively have to solder outside, you're going to have to do something about the wind. Now, the most common thing is to wrap yourself completely around the work that you need to do and then do the soldering. It's quite true you can't do it. I tried doing some soldering out by my antenna. Okay, this says right here, Dear Smart Human, thank you for purchasing Quick Charge. P.S. Happy soldering. I know there's the song about the Happy Wanderer. Is there a song about the Happy Solderer? Okay, here is the little charging well for the thing, and note that it's a non-polarized plug here. Okay. So that means it's double insulated, although of course you've got these 2 points way down in there. You don't have to mess with those at all. This is the Quick Charge. I'm assuming it's a little bit charged. I'm not going to dump everything too fast because there's tips coming out here. There's another tip. And some instructions come out of the box, which is partitioned here. So here are the instructions. When the ISO-Tip operating button is pressed, the tip heats to over 900 degrees Fahrenheit almost immediately. Do not hold the tip when pressing the button. Okay, the lawyers have been at this. Whenever you are finished soldering, make sure to rotate the button back to the lock position. That's probably a real good idea. 900 degrees will start something on fire. Do not allow metal contacts to or short across the recessed charging contact points. It's kind of Chinese sounding there. I don't think it is because it doesn't look like it's printed there. If you look right there, something, oh, it's how to recycle it. Okay. So here are the general information, something to read very thoroughly. Now here is the actual weapon. Right here. It's got some plastic writing on it. Place button in lock position when not in use. Okay, model 7700 used with the right charger. This is interesting down here. They've got a little light bulb. And that's an old-fashioned kind of light bulb that is used with old-fashioned kinds of soldering guns. I'm not surprised it's not an LED. Maybe it is. We'll see. Now it's an incandescent light. Okay, so here are two tips. Now let's see how we put these in. You know what? I think I'm going to read the instruction book, because I don't see how these tips go on. Okay, let's look at the instruction book. Please read these important instructions. Aligning tip. The iron is shipped with the battery uncharged. Okay, that's fine. We'll charge it. Line tip leads over the terminal holes. Push inward and upward until tip is fully seated. To remove, pull straight out. If it is desired to attach the tip permanently to the terminals, remove the two terminal screws and take off the two springs. Then insert the tip into the tip holders, replace the screws, and tighten. Okay. Let's see if we can figure this out. Alright. That would mean putting it in sort of like that. Just putting it in. Alright. I know that they're shipped uncharged, but there's going to be a residual charge. Turn that to use. Woo! Woohoo! Okay. You can see that the smoke from the rosin core is coming off of it. That's quite hot. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it, I'm going to lock this. Okay, this is that switch doesn't detent. There's no detent or anything to keep it in lock. I would think a push and turn, or push this way and turn, would be better, because just hitting just about anything can push that around. That tip is hot. I'm not going to touch it now. I'm just going to put the thing in here now. Is there two ways of putting this in? No, just one. Okay, it just sits. It doesn't go in snugly or anything. See, it kind of wobbles around in here. And I'm going to have to assume that while it's doing that, it's making some sort of contact. You know, I do have a way of checking that. This is a 3-wire extension cord. And that goes into here. Now, okay, this is a little hard to read without the light. 118.9 volts AC on this right now. Now let's plug this into this. Okay, now, believe it or not, I got this at a YouTube symposium, and this I got at a Hamfest, and just plug this in here and you've got a light. So let's see what this silly thing is saying. Power factor. Okay, the power factor is 0.58. So there's the voltage, there's the current. 40 milliamps. Now let's take this thing up and out of here. Okay, 40 milliamps. 50. When I take this up and out, it goes down to, well, it's 10 milliamps, okay? Because it's 0.01, so it's 10 milliamps. When I put this in, I just set it in there, okay, and so the current goes up to 4.04, so 40 milliamps of charging current at 100 volts. So it's 4 or 5 watts actually going through this thing. And I think I got a power factor of 0.58, which means there's a transformer involved somewhere. If we take that out of there, the power factor turns over to look like something that's a transformer that doesn't have a load on it. A power factor of 1 means a fully resistive load. Okay, so we've got 0.58 power factor. The voltage is 118.6 here out in the boonies. 50 milliamps is the current, and it looks like everywhere I go with this thing, if I move this over here, does it shut off? No, so even though it's loose in there, it picks up the current all the time. And that'll go back down to just 10 milliamps. Okay, well that's good, because this isn't a very solid socket, but it picks up current everywhere in that socket. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to shut off the video, and we're just going to let it charge overnight, and we'll take another look at it tomorrow. So, happy sleeping. See you tomorrow. Okay, what we have to take a look at today is the Model 7700 Smart Solder series from Isotron. This is a battery operated device, so you can take it wherever you need to go without trailing wires, and it sells on its website for $50.95. This is still warm from being recharged a little bit. So freshly charged all the way, and we're going to try 2 tests, both kind of stress tests. One is going to be putting a capacitor on this dinky circuit board here. Okay, and I'm just going to pick one and do it. It's this one right here. Here's a very tiny little capacitor. So we're going to put this in here, and we're going to spread the leads apart slightly, and now we're going to solder it. Okay, I'm going to turn this around. Can you see the, there they are. Okay, we'll solder that one first. I'm going to use a grip like this, okay, and I've got my solder here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Turn that off. See what we got here. Very nicely soldered. Okay, now we're going to go the opposite. We're going to go to a rough test here. Okay, now this cable has got a connector on one end, but not on the other. So, rather than crimp it, let's see if we can solder it. This is RG8X. Okay. Normally when you solder, there's this piece, which is the main piece, and then there's a little insert that goes in there and screws on. Okay. And you need to put this on first. Okay. Because we'll need it later. Now let's go ahead and, this is actually prep for crimping, but it will work for what we're doing here too. Okay, now we're going to take this outside piece off here. And put it over the end too. We'll need that later. Now let's thread this all the way up through the end. Okay, the important thing is that we want to get the braid. I'm going to put this down like this. Put the, this is a little hard. Okay, we've got the braid out. I'm going to put that right there. Hold it right there. Okay. I'm going to slide that over that and screw that on. Notice that I'm holding the piece on the left in my hand. And now, having done that, there should be some braid showing, and there isn't any braid showing at all. Okay, a lot more braid. Now I'm seeing braid. There's very small amounts of braid there in the windows. What we want to do is put solder in there. Okay, this is a hard thing to do, so I get that turned like that, and I'm going to hold it this time like this so I can keep that button down. Okay, see when we've got some heat here. Lots of heat here. Do the same thing here. Okay, and while we're at it, let's see how we did. That's okay. This is why I want to put these on first, because I can't tell you how many times I've had to remove the soldered part to put this little ring on. There we go. Okay, we've got a coax connector. So what do I think of this little thing? It's cute, and it's functional. It's extremely functional. I'm very surprised at how hot it gets and how quickly it gets hot, so you don't have to have it on very much. The little bulb, this bulb right there, It's the kind that was used on soldering irons 30, 40, 50 years ago. So I think this is an older design. Would think that could easily be replaced with an even brighter LED for less current. These tips, there's a whole bunch of tips. They're extremely easy to insert and take out. Just be sure you don't do it when they're hot. It's got a bit of a safety feature here. When you push this down to lock, it won't go. I would recommend that you wait for the tip to cool, pull the tip out when you go to store it, so that there's no chance that can accidentally be pressed, because that would cause a fire. It is made in the USA, so nice little thing. The charging well here, let's see, you want to do it away, it wobbles, and yet we did the test yesterday to show that even though it was wobbling, it was connected every time. This right here, this little spot right here, I think it's supposed to carry the tip, and you're supposed to leave the rest of this out. It says that if you leave it in its stand all the time, it will not overcharge. Also, because they're NiCad batteries, it says from time to time you should use the thing to the point of exhaustion. Otherwise, the memory effect sets in, which has been solved by using lithium-ion batteries these days. But so there's the two things that show its age in terms of design: the use of NiCads, the incandescent light. Does it work? Yes, it works. Will I use it? You bet. It's handy. It's just right there. It takes very little space. You can leave it in the charger all the time and not overcharge the batteries. So I give it a thumbs up. This is a good deal. Again, this is from, and where did I put the papers? It's IsoTip Quick Charge Soldering Iron, Quick Charge Soldering Iron from IsoTip in Altoona, Wisconsin. So if you're learning to become a ham, please check out my videos for both the technician, general, and amateur extra class. And I hope you have a wonderful spring day. Until we meet next time, 73.